Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. This is the War on Gaza report. Today is day 214 of Israel's war on Gaza. And as always, we give you the latest updates. We give you the latest developments. We give you everything the corporate media does not give you. I want to start, as we always do, with the numbers. As of today, 34,789 people have been killed and 78,204 have been wounded in Israeli attacks in Gaza since 2023, October 7th, 2023. The death toll in Israel from Hamas's October 7th attacks stand at 1,139, with dozens of people still held captive. The situation in Gaza in the last 24 hours has significantly worsened. The situation in Gaza has significantly intensified, not just in terms of death, not just in terms of violence, but also in terms of the promise of more violence and death with the proposed ground invasion, which still remains very much in play as not just a strategic option for Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government, but as a kind of inevitability, it seems, based on the current conversation. So we'll talk about that. This all, of course, begins the intensified moment that is with Israel's seizure of Gaza's Rafa border crossing. Israeli forces have fully seized control of the Gaza Egyptian Rafa border, cutting off a vital route for humanitarian aid. It also prevents potential sanctuary for civilians from a building offensive by the Israeli forces again. So you have Israeli forces that are targeting Rafah. There's 1.5 million Palestinians in Rafah. It's supposed to only have 250,000 people in it. Normally, it's dense. People are unhoused. It's tense. There's violence, and everyone has said that a ground invasion into Rafah would be a humanitarian disaster, would be a humanitarian crisis. And yet, that's exactly what Netanyahu plans to do. And then this gets even worse when you see control of the border at Rafah, the Rafah crossing, which allows people to go into Egypt. On Tuesday, today, they said that they had seized operational control of Gaza, of the Gaza side of the border post, which links the Gaza Strip to Egypt. Now, the closure of this passage and the fact that they put tanks right in the middle of Rafah, it's a very clear indication that there's going to be a setup. It's a very clear indication that there's going to be a ground invasion. The 401st Brigade entered Rafah early this morning, and they closed the route. So now, if you're Palestinian, you can't leave. If you're a humanitarian aid convoy, you can't get in. Now, of course, the Israeli military, the IDF, says, well, we had to do it. It was the terrorists were invading Rafah, or invading the region through Rafah. And they said that this was a response to the mortar attack that Hamas launched at the Karem Abu Salam crossing, which we talked about a few days ago, known as Kerem Shalom in Hebrew. They said that the attack on the mortar attack was launched from that region. Now, there's no evidence that happened. The Israeli military has not provided proof that this happened. The Israeli government has not offered one scintilla of evidence. But nevertheless, that's what they said. Now, also last night, the warplanes came across and struck 12 houses. I'm sorry, struck dozens of houses, killed 12 people. Now, according to the Israeli military, they struck all terrorists. You know, this becomes the language. But what we know is a fact is that they're killing innocent people. So we have to be honest about that. We have to tell the truth about that. Um, Human Rights Watch intervened last night in the conversation and said, with each day that Israelis block that crossing, more Palestinians are at a risk of dying. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, as always, stands up and has a different analysis. He has a different response. Netanyahu says that he wants a ceasefire. He said, but the ceasefire falls far short of Israeli demands and the proposal that Hamas agreed to. But he's ready to go to Cairo for more talks. And that's all we keep hearing is more talks, more talks, more talks. But there's no reason to believe, that they're going to arrive at any kind of conclusion. And so instead of a ceasefire, we're seeing a buildup to a ground invasion. And let's be very clear also, according to Netanyahu himself, even if they struck a ceasefire deal would not stop the invasion of Rafa. So what we're talking about is something quite something dark, something quite scary. So I want to just lay that out for you all. We're gonna head over to night school right now, but thank you all for watching the Gaza Report. Hit the like button. Let people know you want this Gaza Report every single day. We'll continue to do it. We've done it every single day, for hundreds of days now. We're also going to do, we're going to ask people to hit the subscribe button and also join the channel if you're so inclined. You can also hit, if you so choose, Cash App or Venmo and drop a line in if you want to support the channel and the War on Gaza Report in particular. In the meantime, everybody, we're ending here, but we're headed right over to night school. So as soon as we shut down here in a few seconds, we're going right over to night school where we're going to get started in a minute. We got a lot to talk about, from Gaza to the protests to pop culture. All of it on night school every night, Monday to Friday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Talk to you soon. Peace.